Hello, welcome back to the channel. Tonight I'll be reviewing the film Magnolia. This is a 1999 film written and directed by none other than Paul Thomas Anderson. And I think it's worth noting that Paul Thomas Anderson is one of the greatest directors of all time, next to Stanley Kubrick. His career now spans over 25 years, and I've seen all his films. I want to start with this film because I believe it's his strongest, and I think he was very much so in command of his craft here, with little studio involvement, more than likely. This movie is very similar to another film that probably more people have seen called Crash, which I believe is a 2005 or a 2006 film, with a very similar premise. And that film won an Oscar for Best Picture, which shocked everyone because a lot of people have come to realize that that movie is not good, and very much so borrowed from this film, Magnolia. Magnolia is sort of the first movie to do this. If I'm mistaken, feel free to correct me. But I do believe this is the first sort of thread storyline, sort of a spider web type movie where everything is interwoven and connected, and all storylines have connectivity and impact on the next. So, that being said, this is a difficult movie to go over plot because I don't want to spoil things. Things are revealed from beginning, middle, and end in this film, and yeah, this is a movie you just kind of have to experience. You don't want to watch a trailer, and I'm going to say that a lot because trailers are just, they give away too much. Like going back to like 1990 and on, trailers give way too much information. So this is a movie that is really best enjoyed going in blind. And so I'll give you a little bit of what this movie's about. We have several characters, I want to say 5 or 6 main central storylines that this takes place in Los Angeles over the course of about a day. And it's your slice of life movie where these characters are each experiencing a day that is life changing and impactful. And there are secrets shared and revelations uncovered. And this goes along with the theme that Paul Thomas Anderson is well known for, this kind of father and child relationship that's on the rocks. This movie, I believe, is no, I think every movie he's done it, I want to say, including his first 2. There may be 1 or 2 that he hasn't, but it's always some kind of mentorship or fatherly figure that has sort of failed. And it's this movie, it's very present. You have a man who's dying on his deathbed. He's kind of wronged everyone in his family. He has a few children. He admits to his caregiver, played by Philip Seymour Hoffman, great actor. And he's just kind of confessing, and that leads to another storyline, and so on and so forth. You have Julianne Moore, who plays this old man's wife, and she's sort of also taking part in this caregiving, this palliative process. She's running around getting prescriptions and making sure to ease his comfort. Then you have the character played by Tom Cruise is this men's health guru. He's this dating coach, whatever, and he's sort of a pretty out of line fella. Then you have this child who's on a game show with the host. They're 2 lead characters, and they have their own storylines. Then you have William H. Macy, who is a prior child star that was on this game show previously mentioned, and now he's sort of washed up, and he had been paraded around so much that he's burnt out, and he's just kind of pathetic. You have a girl who appears to be a drug addict, You have a police officer played by John C. Riley, and I think that's all the characters. And wow, I mean, this movie just, it goes in so many different directions, and it keeps you guessing the whole way through. This is a 3 hour and 8 minute film, and it doesn't feel that way because the editing, the cinematography, the score, all A plus, just A plus. And this screenplay, I mean, where did Paul Thomas Anderson come up with this? Like, it's like, who would think of this story? And then, better yet, put it to screen. It cost him $37 million in budget, grossed $48 million in the box office, so not great. And it since has developed a cult following. I think people are pretty well aware of this movie now. Some haven't gotten around to see it, but I definitely think you should. It's important. It has a lot of themes going for it. It has a biblical theme. It also, there's a quote that's used in this quite often, and it goes, "We may be through with the past, but the past isn't through with us." And I think that's, like, it sums the movie up pretty well. And that's used quite frequently in the movie. It's very powerful. Has a very foreboding, dark atmosphere. You always feel like something's about to happen. And in general, this is just one of those movies that it keeps you engaged. I mean, I think it's become one of my favorite movies. It's not something you'll watch maybe once a year or a frequently revisited film, but it's for those with a little bit of patience and who are willing to think outside the box. It does get a little bit artistic near the end in the third act, and that's not for everyone, but I enjoyed it. I get where he's coming from. And now I've seen this movie about 3 or 4 times, but I learned something new every time I watch it. So I definitely think this one's worth giving a look. If I had to score out of 5, I'm going to go ahead and give this one a perfect 5. There's nothing wrong with this movie. It's his best work, and definitely something you should see. All right, thank you for tuning in. Have a good night. I'll catch you next time.